Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. Today, we are going to discuss a very important topic in the business analysis profession or in our preparations for the PMI PBA. My name is Michel Zibara, and I'm gonna walk you through that presentation. However, before we go through that presentation, I would ask each and every one of you to subscribe to my channel down in the below right corner. Hit the bell icon so you can get all the notifications once I upload the videos. With that, our discussions for today, or our topics for today, as we can see on that slide, right? We are going to discuss what are the business analysis responsibilities in needs assessment. Then we're gonna talk about what are the major tasks of needs assessment, what are the tools and techniques utilized in needs assessment, and how to build the business case. And that is the ultimate goal of our presentation. We're gonna pass through a lot of topics, through a lot of information in order to reach our ultimate goal, which is building a strong and solid business case to initiate our project. What are the business analysis responsibilities and needs assessment? Someone might ask, what is the value or what am I going to achieve as a business analyst or business analysis profession throughout or before the project kickoff, and then during the project, as we discussed in our previous presentations? Well, as a business analyst, the key roles and responsibilities are listed in our presentation in front of us. So first of all, work with the business SMEs, customer, and end users to obtain their input regarding the business need. Very clear. Find the root cause of the problem, opportunity, or constraint. Let me remind you, we have discussed in our previous presentations, and you can refer back to these presentations and watch them once again. They are all listed under my playlist PMI PBA in my channel, so you can go and watch again these videos. So any request that we receive as business analysts from key stakeholders or stakeholders in general can be categorized into three different categories: problem, opportunity, or constraint. That is a request. Okay? And then you remember that further analysis to that request will be conducted in order to determine in which bucket does this request, if it is a promising, if it is mandatory, or if it is not, or if it is an outlandish idea or not a realistic or feasible idea. Then it goes into the rejection buckets. So as you can visualize, we have three buckets. We have the must do bucket, we have the rejection bucket, and we have the promising bucket with proper documentation upon each decision made. So a third responsibility of the business analyst is to clarify and uncover smart objectives of business SMEs. Each and every organization, whether formal or informal, has a strategy. They have strategic goals and they have objectives and smart objectives. And what we mean by smart objective is S stands for specific, M stands for measurable, A stands for achievable, R stands for relevant, and T stands for time bound. So these are the characteristics of an excellent objective defined. Okay, and the purpose or the role of the business analyst is to go ahead and clarify and uncover by helping the business subject matter experts and key stakeholders defining or explaining or communicating these smart objectives. Because again, as I explained in our previous presentations, we as business analysts we link the requirement always to the objectives, to the business objective. If that requirement cannot be linked to the business objective, then that is not a solid requirement. It shouldn't be, actually, not even a solid requirement. It shouldn't be a requirement in the first place. Another key responsibility of the business analyst is to learn about the current situation or as is capability of the organization from the business and the technical perspective. Right. So we have an organization. That organization is operating. So definitely there is a current situation, a current capability, the current as-is situation of that organization, based on its performance, based on its key performance indicators, based on its security, based on its operability, based on its business profits. So there is a current state, a current as-is situation for that environment, for that company or organization or corporation, right? So the duty of the business analyst is to learn about the current situation of the organization and its capability, right? That's his own responsibility. Nobody will come and tell the business analyst, this is everything, go ahead, everything is on the table, do it. Yeah, you might get some documents through document research, you can get some information, but it is the initiative of the business analyst to go ahead and search from a curiosity perspective and from the position of using that information for the success of his profession. So yes, work with stakeholders to identify possible solutions and assess their feasibility. Okay, the business analyst is not a one-man show. The business analyst is supposed to be working, collaborating, communicating, resolving conflicts with the stakeholders. So he should be energetic and dynamic type of person with the business value in mind. So he should be working, or she should be working with stakeholders to identify possible solutions and assess their feasibility. Perform alternative analysis to provide different solution options which are ranked based on return on investment and business value. Again, a clever business analyst should not lock himself to one idea. Should perform alternative analysis in order to generate several solution options and rank them, of course, based on the ranking, based on the business value. Gain approval from the sponsor for the proposed solution approach. Definitely that requires, or that solution, once it is compared with the other solutions, it is supposed to be signed off by the ultimate authority or the funding party, which is the sponsor. Work with the business subject matter experts to ensure the solution scope include the required capabilities. Again, as it is the role and the responsibility of the business analyst to link requirements to business objectives, again, it is the sole responsibility, or pardon me for using the word sole, but it is the core responsibility of the business analyst to ensure that each and every requirement is interlinked and is part of the solution component, or else that requirement and that project would be doomed to failure, because we are delivering a solution that is missing a core requirement, and therefore there would be gaps in the project upon completion, if not chaos. Create a description of the solution scope. Create a description of the solution scope. Clear. Describe the scope. If the business analyst have done properly his work, it should be very easy to describe the solution scope. If not, then definitely struggles and challenges will pop up. Compile tangible and intangible cost and benefits of the solution. Right? That's cost-benefit analysis. That is a ratio of the benefits or the revenues divided by the costs, and that is a percentage. If the cost-benefit analysis is positive, then that is a promising project. The higher the cost-benefit analysis, the better and the more promising is the project. So again, business value in mind. The business analyst is mainly profit-oriented, revenue-oriented, is more inclined to make decisions based on business value in terms of profitability of the organization. So yes, business value driven, oriented, and inclined. That is the business analyst. That's the business analyst duty. What are the major tasks of needs assessment? I've chosen that diagram, or that high-level process chart. I don't know what to say about it, if that's the proper terminology, but we are going to refer back to that slide very often upon discussing the subsequent slides. So, what are the major tasks of needs assessment? That is a very high-level summary, but it is very, very important. So, first of all, the business analyst is supposed to clarify business needs. So all of this is pre-project work before getting to the business case and then moving to the next step, which is developing the project charter. So that is pre-project work. The business analyst clarify business needs, goals, and objectives. Okay? Business analyst clarify the business needs, which are in parentheses problem, opportunity, or constraint, and the business goals and the objectives. So now some people still confuse a little bit between the difference of the goal and the objective, business goal and business objective. So business goal is a broader terminology. Business objective is more specific. As we said, objective, excellent objectives equal SMART. SMART stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. These are the 5 excellent characteristics of a SMART objective. The goal is a broader overview, a broader vision of the objective. I can have several objectives in an organization in order to achieve my goal. For example, I own a business. I want to be the most recognized and admired company in my region, or in my country, or internationally, or globally. That is a goal. But in order to achieve that high level goal, I need to be executing, and I need to have a lot of SMART objectives in order to achieve that goal. One of the objectives, for instance, increasing revenue of the company by 20%. By 20% by the end of 2021. That is a SMART objective. Okay? And we can have several objectives in order to reach our goal. So I hope that analogy clarifies a little bit the differences between goal and objectives, business goals and objectives. The second, after the business analysts clarify the business needs, goals, and objectives, and by the way, these are not sequential. So I can be clarifying business needs, but it's better to move this way, clockwise, until we reach the business case definition. Okay? Another major tasks in needs assessment is identify and analyze key stakeholders. At that level, in the needs assessment, I still don't go deeper in knowing the details of the stakeholders. So it's a very high level identification, but making sure that none of the stakeholders is missed, because missing a stakeholder will result in project failure. It's very important to make sure all the stakeholders are identified by asking always the question, by engaging in communication, by communicating curiously, by following the set of procedures, guidelines in the organization, and by asking always who is impacted positively or negatively by this requirement, or by this problem, or by this opportunity, or by this constraint. Okay, so that is identification and analyzing key stakeholders. Analyzing key stakeholders, that's the second part of the statement, is to check the influence and the power of the stakeholder in an organization. What's the ultimate authority that stakeholder has in the organization? What decisions can he make? So all of this stakeholder analysis and stakeholder values are important at a very high level in needs assessment in order to help generate a solid and strong business case. Another important task in the needs assessment is develop high-level solution or product scope. Again, and as we said in our previous presentations, a clever business analyst does not lock himself in one solution. A clever business analyst will propose a set of alternative solutions, and not only proposing these solutions, but also performing a proper ranking in terms of business value or risk, which will influence making the best decision and choosing the best solution option to fulfill that requirement, which is again originating from the project objectives. Okay? And all of these three major tasks, they yield the business case definition, a strong definition or a solid defined business case. Okay? That is when the idea or the initiative becomes becomes a project at that stage, once we have defined a business case and have gotten sign of authority from the sponsor on that business case. What are the tools and techniques utilized in needs assessment? Okay, so as I said, keep in mind that slide which we have gone through just now, because we're going to refer to it through our subsequent slides. What are the tools and techniques utilized in needs assessment? As you know, we have, as many of you have studied for the project management, the same concept everywhere actually. You have inputs, tools and techniques, and you have outputs. So the tools and techniques are the gear to perform the work, as if you enter to a warehouse and you want to pick your tools. For instance, you want to tile your bathroom. Okay, what tools do I need? I enter to the warehouse. I'm not gonna use all the tools in the warehouse. Of course, I'm gonna use the specific tools which I'm going to need to tile my bathroom. So, and that is the art of business analysis and project management. It helps the professional or the practitioner master using the tools in order to provide an outcome, and that outcome is based on an income or an input. Okay, input, tools and techniques, output. Okay, output, deliverable. Okay, output equal deliverable. Okay, not all the times, but it could be output, can be an example of output, could be a deliverable. Root cause analysis is one of the major techniques which every organization, whether through a proper formal process, does it or doesn't do it. It can be verbally communicated rather than documenting it on paper. But root cause analysis is used to determine the true nature of a problem before the team decides on a solution. Okay? So now we are discussing mainly, not constrained, but mainly in general, the tools and techniques that are associated with that task of business, of the needs assessment in the business analysis profession. So you see it marked yellow. Okay, so as the definition, used to determine the true nature of a problem before the team decides on a solution, using a group creativity technique such as brainstorming. So it's again not a one-man show. It's a group of people, creative people with brilliant minds sitting together in one room and brainstorming to generate or to understand what was the root cause of that specific problem, by asking specific questions to subject matter experts and people present in that meeting. The second tool and technique, also associated mainly but not limited to that task in business need. Okay, fishbone diagram, and mainly they are oriented or associated with a business need, and that need is a problem. Okay, I can still have a fishbone diagram, or what is called cause-effect diagram, or Ishikawa diagram, based on opportunity, but mainly most of the people use it for being pragmatic. Most of the people use it for problem. Again, it depends on the situation and it depends on the need. Okay, so for instance here, marked yellow because I am referencing it to that task in business analysis and specifically to a problem. Right? So it's used to determine the root cause of a problem as well as opportunity. Right? So the problem is, it looks like a fish with causes and sub-causes, a backbone of the fish, and then like you have the skin, the bones, which are the causes and sub-causes, which lead to the problem at the tip of the bone. Okay, so these are all causes filled on that diagram in order to understand what was the cause of that problem that led us to be here in that organization. It's also used in conjunction with 5 whys. So all of these 3 are used in conjunction with each other. So again, 5 why, asking 5 consecutive questions to uncover the true root cause. For instance, I am in an interview with a stakeholder, right? He has a problem or he has a requirement. Mainly he has a problem here, right? As we said, business need and problem, or opportunity also. But let's say focused on a problem. He stated the problem. Okay? The business analyst should be like a radar, should capture and should be an effective communicator and an active listener. That is the characteristic, that is one of the main characteristics of business analyst. So should pick in his statement words that will allow him to ask the question why, communicating in a curious approach. And here I stress on the importance of communicating in a curious approach, because we don't want to upset our stakeholder. At the end of the day, we want to get the maximum out of him, and we don't want him to feel that we are challenging him. So if, for instance, I ask the question to my stakeholder, but why? I mean, then I'm not gonna expect a proper answer from my stakeholder. Also, the body language is very important. But for instance, if I ask him the question, but why do you think that this is a major problem? Or why do you think that this is a key opportunity or key potential promising feature? So there is a way in communicating, right? And another trick in the 5 whys technique, once the stakeholder which you are interviewing answers the question, the business analyst will be focusing on the last 3 words of the statement of the answer which the stakeholder answered. The last 3 statements, because from these, the last 3 words, because from these 3 words, it will create an opportunity to ask the second why, and then again the third and the fourth and the fifth, until we understand the root cause of the problem. Okay? I hope I explained it properly. Situation statement. Situation statement, again, after performing the root cause, the fishbone diagram, the 5 whys, one of the main tools and techniques is the situation statement, or what is called in other books problem statement. It's a summary statement that articulates the needs, whether problem, opportunity, or constraint, with its effect and impact. Effect means a result. Impact means the value. For example, if I do not fix let's say, the water leakage in my house, the furniture will get damaged, and the problem would be excuse me. So let me think of a better example, or let me put it in a proper statement, situation statement. So if I do not fix the water leakage in the house, there is a potential result that one day I will leave the house and come back and see water flooding in the house, which will damage my furniture and incur a lot of cost on me, right? So I've discussed the result. When I come back, I will see a lot of flooding, which will damage the furniture. That's the impact, and it will incur a lot of cost on me. It can be, this is not a proper, now just I'm thinking out loud, and the situation statement also comes out of a group creativity technique in order to make sure everything is listed properly in that situation statement. So that's not a perfect, but just an example to visualize. Gap analysis. Gap analysis compare the as-is situation to the desired to be situation in the organization. So now you see mainly you use a lot of things. All of the greens are used in opportunity, right? Not limited to opportunity, but more or less. So gap analysis is a technique which the business analysts use to assess the as-is situation and compare it to the desired ideal situation, or what is called the to-be situation in the organization. SWOT analysis stands for strength, weakness, opportunity, and threats. It's a matrix where you have the strength and weaknesses on one side and the opportunities on and threats on the other side, and you perform the intersection between all of them. Okay, and it's a technique used in opportunity analysis and allow the team to identify strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Benchmarking, again, used in opportunity analysis and not only opportunity analysis, focuses on measuring and organization performance compared to other organizations in the same industry or market. Not only organization to organization. It can be a process to a process. It can be a department to a department. It's a broad a tool and technique utilized widely. Document analysis and research, right? Document analysis and research. So now we are discussing the document analysis and research. Documents will uncover documents that will uncover information about the current as-is organization capabilities. Okay, so it's like a knowledge base document management system where documents can be pulled out and extrapolated. Lessons learned and procedures and processes, guidelines, rules, regulations can be extrapolated from that document. It's called document analysis. It's also a tool and technique. Functional decomposition diagram, which is breaking down and separating a whole basic component, a whole into a basic component. Right? We have used it in PMP. Everybody is familiar with WBS, work breakdown structures. This is in terms of business analysis is used for any for needs assessment. I can get a whole need and then decompose it into smaller sub needs. And I can have a process functionally decomposed into smaller processes. Another tool technique is pastel steeple analysis. Right, so PEST analysis. PEST stands for political, economical, sociocultural, and technological. Maybe L for legal here, and maybe E for ethical, environmental could be. So all of them ecological. Oh, it's listed here. It's a technique used to which the team uses to analyze the global environment within the organization where it operates. Functional decomposition diagram, breaking down and separating a whole into basic components. I think that's twice. Yeah, that's a mistake. Right. We'll remove that. Interviewing, high-level meeting with the requester to elicit high-level objectives. Okay. Now, if we go back and we are in the tools and techniques where we use to identify and analyze key stakeholders, so that means interviewing is one of the elicitation techniques, where definitely at a very high level we're gonna discuss here, but definitely we'll discuss it later on in the elicitation and analysis business domain. So, high level meeting with the requester to elicit high level objectives, requirements, and potential benefits. Requirements or scoping workshops includes 5 to 20 people. Here we have a one-to-one interview, or a lesser, probably 2 people in the room, but the requirement workshop or joint application development, several names for the workshops here, so it includes 5 to 20 people in the meeting room. It is informal at that level in the needs assessment, and mainly to gather information to help build the business case and identify stakeholders at that level and understand the stakeholder values. Alternative analysis, okay, that is the tool and technique which is adopted or utilized in order to generate several solution alternatives or options. Force field analysis. Force field analysis is a technique that acknowledges the idea of that any idea has pros and cons. So we have positive pressures and we have negative pressures, and we have the idea as a straight line, and with the positive pressures moving, it depends on the convention. It could be different way depending on the process, but let's say positive pressure, negative pressure, we have the idea in the middle as a line, and all these pressures and influence are assessed to assess that will influence the acceptance of the solution idea. Context diagram, a technique which shows the solution scope and its interfaces with the external. Okay? Context diagram is very famous and very important in business analysis concept. It is mainly the solution. The solution scope is confined within a circle in the middle, and we have the interfaces as arrows and with notations, and then we have the externals in boxes. Externals means outside the scope of the solution. Anything is in the middle is within the scope of the solution. Externals are interactions or are bodies external to the scope, and the arrows are the interfaces linking the solution scope to these blocks, which are the externals. What are the tools and techniques utilized in needs assessment? That's another slide. Use case diagram is another geographic technique for showing solution scope based on the actors. So here we have a rectangle, we have the use cases or the functions in the middle, okay, and then we have the actors or the users represented as personnel, and we have arrows linking the actor to the functions. Okay, just to visualize a little bit. Probably I should have included a sketch of use case diagrams, but you guys definitely don't rely fully. The key concepts are here, but you can look for examples everywhere through any search engine or somewhere else. No issues. Okay, everything is available on the internet these days. User stories is another way to elicit, analyze, and document solution scope through user stories. Okay, user stories, the people that have studied and passed the PMI Agile, they know a lot about user stories. So user story, very short statement or description. Okay, and that 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 is a tool and technique which elicit, analyze, and document the solution scope. Okay, and you guys know. Again, I should have included that. The user stories are represented on cards with the triple C's. Triple C means where you have the acceptance criteria on the back of the card. You have the estimation in story points of that user story, and you have a statement describing the user story. Okay, the functions or the features. All right, and that is based on communication and communication with the stakeholder, confirmation, and compliance with the acceptance criteria. Product backlog. Again, that is a set. It is like a list of several user stories ranked by cost or by value or by risk. And we have high priority, medium, and low. Again, we have different tools of prioritizing. One of them is Moscow technique: must do, should do, could do, would do, or nice to have, won't do. So different prioritization techniques. Okay, but again, a product backlog is a list of user stories. Again, that will help define the scoping, the solution scope. Okay. Now, if we go back to the slide here, so we were discussing the tools and techniques associated with the high level, with developing the high level solution scope. Now we have moved to define the business case. So after performing these tasks, we reach to defining the business case, and we're going to talk about the tools and techniques associated with that task of needs assessment. Right. Cost-benefit analysis. Cost-benefit analysis is a tool and technique utilized in needs assessment, and it is used to develop the business case. In the cost-benefit analysis, it is listed the tangible one-time cost and ongoing costs are listed, and the intangible costs are also listed, and the tangible and intangible benefits are also listed. Metrics and KPIs is another technique to justify a proposed solution via gathering metrics of the current system and estimate the performance of the proposed solution in numeric, and that aids in the appearance of a solid justification for a solution. Pretty clear. Estimation or prediction, everybody knows what estimation is. It's another technique helping in ranking each solution by predicting what it will cost to design, develop, implement, and operate a solution end to end. Feasibility study, again, another tool and technique to assess options from different perspectives such as technological, operational, schedule, and financial. Our last but very important tool and technique which is used in business analysis is, and specifically building the business case, is financial analysis. Return on investment, internal rate of return, payback or break even, net present value, etc. For that purpose, I have chosen, hopefully I can open it. I cannot. Let me try to click it. Okay. I've chosen an example. By the time it opens, that will visualize a little bit these terms. But in general, the business analyst is not. In general, the business analyst, for some reason, I don't know where it is. Right. The business analyst doesn't need to be a chief financial officer, nor a financial expert, but it's expected that the business analyst should have a minimum level of understanding of these accounting and financial analysis and criterias or financial engineering. I've taken an example here, for instance, and the aim of that example is to answer the question, is it better, I don't know if you, let me a little bit, okay, zoom in, okay, is it better to deposit money in the bank and earn 5%, the 5% is an interest rate, or in other terms, discount rate, or hurdle rate, or cost of capital. So these are the acronyms, or these are the this is the terminology that you will see very frequently. Okay, let me use the discount rate here. I will be using discount or interest rate. So discount rate or interest rate of 5% guaranteed in the bank, or is it better to invest the money, I've taken as an example $350, in the project framework of this table? So that's just an example. I've used random figures, $350, just to relay the idea behind the cash flow and the present value and the net present value and the IRR, internal rate of return. Okay, so parenthesis and red means minus. So year 0, I have invested in paying $350 into that project, which is in that table framework. The present value, there is a formula for present value. I'm not sure you guys know it, but the formula says I take the cash flow, which is this number here, okay, C4, and I divide it by 1 plus R, which stands for the interest or the discount rate, this one, right? And then to the power of this one here. That will give me this value, which is negative. Again, this is negative. So minus the present value at year 0, when we just started that project, is minus 350. After year 1 is completed, again, that is a random number. The cash flow here, which is the benefits minus the cost, this is the net, the net cash flow. Let's say I made $100 net profit after the end of year 1. So, but that's not the present value, because I know the $100 here is in reality less than the value. It's less than that value. How do I know that? By calculating the present value. So the present value, again, this is the formula. Okay, it is after year 1. Okay, it will give me $95. Year 2, okay, present value, same, net present value, sorry, present value, not net. And year 3 I made 150, okay, profit, and then the present value of the 150, okay, and year 4 again. So the summation of the present values, and again this is negative, you will be wondering why did I get 177. So I have paid minus 350. This is what I made as profit. So the total net present value is this figure. In Excel sheet you have a formula, but make sure you do not forget it's not only NPV that you will have to add the you will have to add this one to it, okay. So it is this 350 invested money plus and the NPV of the NPV formula. So you'll get the same number. Actually that's the same number here. Just I wanted to show you that in Excel you will have to do a small tweak in order to get the same answer. Okay, then IRR, internal rate of return. Again, right, there is a formula in Excel sheet to calculate the IRR, and that's the formula. We have all the given here, and that will come out to be around 19 or 20%. The higher the IRR, the better is the project, the more profitable is the project. The higher the NPV, the better the project. Okay, so you can see here whatever we have discussed is written as notes. A positive NPV is a good investment, and the higher the better. Negative NPV is a bad investment. So if I got a negative NPV here, negative net present value, it's better to put that $350 in a bank as an investment rather than investing it in a project, because that project would be a loss. Okay, that's another example actually, okay, showing more information here, right? Again, discount rate, discounted factor, it's 1/1. There is a formula here. We get these numbers. We have project A, project B. We want to choose between project A and project B. Okay, so year 1, 2, 3, 4, year 1, 2, 3, 4 for project A and for project B. Costs 100,000 euros for project A. Cost for project B 15,000 euros. By looking, why did I give that example? Because it's pretty obvious, but let's go through the financial analysis and engineering better to go step by step rather than assuming. So the year 1 I have that much cost, year 2 that much cost. Okay, for project B the costs are here, and then I have benefits. Okay, but I should be calculating the discounted costs. That means I am multiplying this by that factor. Okay, we go and do this by that factor. How did we get them? This, I have all the given, apply that formula, we get the discount factor. Multiply this by the discount factor here, we get that answer. So we get them all here. Okay, then we have the total summation. Benefits, discounted benefits, the same. The same here. Okay, so net present value, you guys tell me, how did we get that number? It's the total discounted benefits minus the total discounted costs. This minus that, I get this. Okay, the ROI is what? How do I get the ROI? It's this minus this over this, or a formula. Okay, let's go and see how did that number come from. So this minus that over this, okay, discounted benefits minus discounted cost over discounted cost, right? And the percentage 25. Good, the higher the better, as we said, the higher the better. Payback period 4 years. Okay. How did I get the payback period? Discounted benefits minus discounted costs. Discounted benefits minus discounted costs. Very simple. 0 minus this is this. This minus this is that. Okay? So we got it. Then how did I get that? There's a summation. I got the summation. Cumulative discounted benefits minus discounted costs. Okay? Here is the tweak. So cumulative discounted benefits minus cumulative discounted costs. So I've started with that. It's equal to that. But second year, I made profit. Okay? Second year, I made profit. And here's my profit. So I would take this one and add it to this one. So minus 92,592, I'm down. I added the profit of year 2. I get to, I am still down by minus 45,438. Year 3, again, the same concept. This, and I made 43, so I'm down by around minus 2k euros. Am I right? Yeah, this minus that. Okay? Oh, sorry, minus 1.7k. Around, almost 2k. Yeah. Year number 4, again, this minus that. Okay? Now I'm up. I'm positive. You see, I'm green. I broke even here. That means I've returned the investment and I made profit. I went above 0. So here I'm making profit now. So we say payback period is year 4. Payback period is year 4. For that project, it's the same concept, right? But the ROI is less than the ROI of project B is less than the ROI of project A. Okay? Payback, the same concept. I am above 0 at year 3. What project do I choose to execute? I cannot execute 2 projects. I have to choose one of the 2. Right? What do I choose? You guys tell me. Write down in the comment, what do I choose? Okay? Don't read here. Don't cheat. Okay? Right. So, what do I choose? The higher the ROI, the better. Despite the return on investment is year 4, later by 1 year. But that variance of 25 minus 17, a variance of 8%, is more attractive to go with project A than going with project B. However, again, a clever business analyst will ask questions, not just go now into that. If I did a mistake, you should stop me and say, Michel, what have you said in the earlier presentations? At least ask, how long does it take to finish that project? How long does it take? Because that project here might take 7 years to complete, and this project might take 2 years to complete. So then definitely that is much better than this, because all of this will be shifted to the right. Okay, and that break even or payback period is no longer realistic. Okay, so again, we need to ask the question for the solution team: how confident are we with our estimation or with the schedule of getting this completed within 1 year or within 2 years? So again, a clever business analyst would ask these questions before going blindly and based on numerics by saying proceed with project A rather than project B, because project A ROI is 25% higher than 17. We should go with project A. However, once we go with project A, the estimation or the execution takes 5 or 6 years to get project A completed, and that is a loss, a business loss. Okay? I think that is more than enough. Normally I prefer to present 30 minutes in order not to overload you or for the audience not to feel bored. However, that business domain, which is that needs assessment domain, and PMI PBA is a very important domain, and maybe later on in other domains I will try to break the sessions into shorter, maximum at least 30 minutes. Alright, so with that we come to our final slide. Please make sure, or please feel free to ask all your questions down in the comment box. Make sure you subscribe. Hit that subscribe button in the lower right hand side corner. Make sure you click on the bell sign so you don't miss any of my future videos. Thank you guys, and take care.